Good afternoon. So we had a great panel and great discussion. Even yesterday, today, excellent points have come up. Now, I want to put some of the points that you may find in these difficult times, what can be done. So we have seen VUCA world, we have discussed since yesterday. I will not get into this, but what is the uncertain environment? It is actually economic, geopolitical, technological, and social. We understand the technological bit very well. All of us have been dealing in that for a very long time, and that's kind of ever-changing situation in the technology field that we have witnessed, we have dealt with. But the other ones is what is actually now impacting what we do. But these uncertain times are too good an opportunity to let it pass. Because if we can do something now, if we can tighten our belt, if we can reduce cost, if we can improve engagement with our customers, that stays when the good times come back. So let's see what is happening on the industry. In the uncertain times, people are not ready to take risk, not ready to make long-term commitment. So long-term commitment is probably, with cloud and paper use kind of a concept, everywhere it has started impacting. And most importantly, nobody wants to wait too long. There is if there is a return of investment 4 or 5 years, it's difficult, to anybody to commit to that kind of investment. From an organization perspective, all of you, I'm sure, are seeing resources are being withheld, right? Because it is uncertain, it's very difficult to commit. I think all organization at some point of time, depending on the risk-taking capacity, has taken high risk, high return kind of investment call. I think that people are not ready to do now. And sometimes, particularly for IT, it comes down to this, whatever you are doing, do it well, okay? Let's look at investment later. But I think we need to prepare, and that's the theme of my presentation. How do we prepare ourselves to take on these uncertain times? And more importantly, the uncertain times will definitely not last forever. So when it changes, how well we are prepared, okay? So how do we do today, whatever we are doing, much more efficiently? How do we release resources for tomorrow? How do we set up technology for tomorrow? Can we predict our businesses, whatever business we are in, for tomorrow, and prepare people for tomorrow? So whatever we are doing, particularly in IT space, if we can do that healthier and leaner, that will release our resources. And that's very important, because it will not release the resources for now, it will release resources even for the future. So we will be much better off doing what we want to do, that is newer initiatives, transformative initiative. We will have resources to do it. I will not get into, I think you all know, for example, if somebody is managing data center, how well, efficiently can we make it? Can we make it much more robust, right? Can we do it with lesser people? All of us managing, applications will be having a set of people who are simply supporting those applications. Can we have lesser number of people and make that team leaner? This is important, and this is where the digital technologies have started and coming. How our businesses, we help them to become more agile so that they can run faster and they become smarter, right? So our engagement with the customer has to be smarter. Our engagement with our employees has to be much smarter. And if you look at, this is probably how we want to ride the digital tiger. Healthier, leaner, faster, and smarter, right? it's not that we will take one step and then go to the next step. We will probably take all the steps simultaneously, but if we are healthier and leaner, it will help us to take the faster and smarter steps much more easily. We want to, put our whole technologies into application, and that's what typically our businesses need. They need, applications which are immersive, which are impactful, and which are transformative in terms of business processes. And this is the time when we can actually prepare ourselves, prepare our businesses for transformative business processes. And what would be kind of immersive experiences? The bots, I think all of us are into this, and also the mobility, the ability to work from anywhere, more applications on the fly, not tied at particular workplace, any time of the day, and things like that. Now, what happens is, if you look at the healthier and leaner pieces, if we can release resources from there, it will help us to do these. The impactful application, all of you know, I don't need to really, because this impacts. So if we are able to release our resources by being healthier and leaner, probably we need to look at these applications which will be noticed by our business partners, right? Of course, in these kind of times, uncertain times, these applications that we have to do by releasing our other resources will have to be successful for them to take note. And I will show some of the things that we are doing and how people are taking note, at least within the organization. These are some of the things that can be done. This will have to be done in smaller steps, because it will be very difficult in these uncertain times to get a very large investment to do a huge, let's say, blockchain initiative. We may have to do it at a lesser pace. People will have to get interested in looking at smaller results and then make that investment. For example, RPAs. Now, RPAs can be very mundane. It can be with a lot of intelligence. I think today this is the time which has come. If you go to a CFO and tell that I'm doing this investment, I need X amount of money, and I will return it within 6 months. Chances are that investment will come through, because the CFO is looking at very short-term results, and if somebody is saying that, of course, that has to be quite definitive that the return will come in 6 months, likely that he would agree. And those are the kind of transformative initiatives that we need to take at this point of time. So, of course, this is something that we have been doing. We have to do the plethora of technologies. We have to pick up the technologies carefully. There are, to solve a problem today, there are multiple ways to attack it. There always was, but today there are much more alternatives. So we have to be careful as to what is the right one to do it. I will, show some of the POCs. How we have done it is the POCs that we have done at Mahindra is releasing, resources from what we were doing, and almost taken that, this much money, there's so many people will always be taken. When we actually questioned it, we were able to, reduce those resources, release those, budgets and people to do some of the POCs, and I'll show you. Now, I want to show you a speech to text to translate. Now, this is not that any R&D that we have done. Speech to text were always there. It has become, fairly robust today. And text to translate, if you go to, let's say, Google Translate, you will get a fairly good, very good translation. Now, this actually came about from doing one of the in training programs. One of the boys did, small part of the project, did a small experimentation, and from there we took it. And
To
just
minimize the new product development cycle
Pour minimiser le nouveau cycle de développement de produits.
and to make MRV a great place to work.
Pour faire d'un MRUV un endroit idéal pour travailler.
So this is, we have an R&D center at Chennai. We call it MRV Mahindra Research Valley. And there was a French delegation had come. Okay, since we had taken it, if you saw the video, when the person was introducing MRV as in English, online it did a speech to text and then translated, and also again, text to speech. Now this is possible. This was done live. Okay, this has huge opportunity to do, in different places, different businesses that we are in. And we hope to bring in this kind of thing, and this is what is enthusing. Now, after seeing this, what happened, we, for example, have our subsidiaries in China and Korea, so that, their interactions they want. So now we are kind of integrating this with our video conferencing system. For that, I'm getting budget, because that will help a lot of things in terms of, pure an interpreter that is required when English and Japanese people are interacting. Probably that will not be required, and that's how the investments are coming. The next, the face recognition. This is also another project that was done, part of a training program, and you probably see, all of us are actually using the mobile phone. Is one of the things that is being done, face recognition. What I want to show a small video that we have done and applied. Where we have applied for, first thing that we have applied, we have contract workers coming into the plant with a swipe card which doesn't have a photograph, right? It's difficult to figure out if the person who is entering and the card whom it has been issued are the same or not. So that green light will glow, which will give an indication that it's an authenticated one. And very interestingly, if you see this one, this is happening in our MRV, that Product Development Center. And we were also able to integrate with the access system. So the door which is locked, with the face recognition, it can be done. So if you look at this kind of thing, now a lot of our businesses are asking, can we remove the regular swipe card attendance altogether, and they are ready to invest in this kind of, they're ready to release budget for this kind of thing in these uncertain times. So the another one, this has not gone fully live, but it has huge potential, but we have done it in only one place. So we have manufacturing, and manufacturing online, there are a lot of inspection that is required. This is sealant being applied by an automated machine, but this is required to be manually checked, because sealant is not always applied very uniformly, which is required. But with the object recognition, it is possible, and we figured it out that if we have good samples, right, as images stored, and we take live feed from where it is to be checked, then you match, and you actually can point out that these are the places where it is not good, right? And it can be automated, so the effective output from the person who would otherwise inspect would go up, because that person will be able to do more, and the accuracy will improve. Now the question is, we have about 10-12 plants in the manufacturing sector that we operate in. Can we do it all now? No, of course, I will not get that kind of investment at this point of time. But what has come through that, okay, the critical areas, something like, let's say, engine, transmission, some of these areas, can we apply it? For that, people are ready to invest. So I want to touch upon, right, we deal with predictions all the time. I just want to give you some examples of some of the predictions that has happened. This is 1894 London, when there were all horse carts, and they had, this is what was predicted by Times London. Okay? This did not happen because within 10 years, this full of automobile that had come in. So the situation did not arise. This is, you might have seen this very often used. If you look at the left side of the picture, there is all horse carts, there's only one automobile. In 13 years on the right, that changed. The same street, there's just one horse cart and all automobiles. So things can change. And if you look at in today's scenario, all these have, this whole speed of change has gone only, more than the example that I'm saying. This is the reason why AT&T did not get into mobile phone. They had invented in 1985, right? This whole study was done. A lot of money was taken to do the study, but they said, don't get into this. The market is very limited, okay? And we know what has happened. This is Charlie Chaplin, what he had said, right? Of course, he may have been, very emotionally connected to theater, and that may have prompted, but this is another prediction. These are some of the predictions that we are aware of. And as late as 2004, Bill Gates said the spam problem will be solved in 2 years, and we know what the spam problem is even today. So the other thing that we need to be cognizant of, the products are becoming obsolete. If you see, all the things that you are seeing on the right, today that is possible from one device, right? So this is how it is changing, and this is changing very fast. So we have to be careful about these predictions may not come right. So I'm not really, saying that don't listen to predictions. All I'm saying is evaluate such predictions. Don't agree to the prediction because somebody very renowned has said. You have to evaluate your scenario and see if that prediction fits in or not. This is the other thing that has happened, and it has happened in the last 10, 15 years. How the calling has changed. If we look at transformation, right, I think there is only 4 areas that the transformation need to be focused on. First, of course, the customer. The engagement of the customers is where a lot of transformation is possible, which will be impactful. Transform products using digital technologies. Optimize operations. So I showed some of the examples, particularly digital inspection that I showed, and there is of course a whole lot of opportunities in optimizing operations, not just in manufacturing that I spoke about or gave examples, but anything that you are doing, that operations that are there is huge opportunity to optimize and make transformation. I think if you look at the banking industry, they have made huge changes in how loans are disbursed, how customers are onboarded. And finally, the empowering our employees. There's a huge opportunity to empower our employees today, and we need to be hugely focusing on that set of transformation. The last one I get into, because if you want to do those first 4 and prepare ourselves, who will be doing it? If we think the IT people will be doing, IT people are reasonably conversant, if not all, at least most of the IT employees are conversant with the digital technologies and the transformations that are coming, right? The speed of change I mentioned has hugely increased, and this is something you can take note of, how much time it has taken to a new technology, new product or service to get 50 million users. Airlines had taken 6 to 8 years, and if you see the last one, Your Mom, which is a game, took 19 days. That's how the change. Now, it is not possible for IT employees to manage this within an organization. They have to be conversant, they have to lead, but I think what is required, that whole set of employees in an organization has to be what I would call digitally dexterous. The digital quotient in the organization has to go up, right? And this is how some of the things have happened. Music industry has gone from analog to physical, and all of these. And if you look at the time frame, these are the kind of time frame. These are typically S curves. It starts rapid increase and then flattens out, and then you can see we actually don't know where we are heading now. So the entire set of employees of the organization now has to get into this mode of cultivating digital dexterity. It is not just the employees. Actually, we have started a new 1-year program where we are enrolling anybody to come and experience what the technologies are, how they are being applied. So somebody like, say, somebody is in logistics, can that person or all the persons in logistics actually understand artificial intelligence, AR, VR, machine language, RPAs, get exposed to the basics of the technology, understand where all this is being applied, and they come back to IT that I need to do it. I think there is a huge scope of applying artificial intelligence in what I do. First of all, there would be huge pull rather than push, and if there is a pull from the customer, the chances of success is very high. And one thing I would say, for IT as well as all employees of the organization need to have an open mind, have to think beyond tomorrow. It's easy to guess what is happening tomorrow, but what is happening 1 year later has become difficult. So that has to be thought of, and try it before discarding, because you need to do the POCs, need to prepare for tomorrow when it comes, and this, to me and our organization, we think it will prepare us to take off the block when the good times return. And we can't let go the opportunity of uncertainty that exists today to let it pass. Thank you.